Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
This Thanksgiving, think outside the oven and get Thanks Grilling with Ace. Get a new grill and choose from top brands like Traeger, Weber, and Big Green Egg to add even more flavor to your Thanksgiving turkey, side dishes, and desserts. Plus, right now, get free assembly and delivery on all grills and accessories $3.99 and up. For the best help on the best grills, stop by your local Ace and get Thanks Grilling. Ace Rewards members only through December 24th. See participating stores for scheduling or exclusions.
This is Novia's Job Search Advice Radio, episode 1771. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome. Today, I've got a fun little show called Give Me an Example of Working with Someone Who's Hard to Get Along With, and of course, how you handle them. Hope you find it helpful and give it a great review wherever you listen to the show. And with that, welcome to Monday, and let's get going, okay? Today's video is designed to answer one of those tough interview questions. Give me an example of working with someone who is hard to work with, and how did you handle interactions with that person? Boy, that's a tough one. And your answer really depends on your level of seniority. So I want to be clear. I'm not talking about abusive situations. I'm not talking about the extremes when answering this question. I think if you bring those up in interviews, you run a risk. And the risk is, can the other person hear them and not think of you as being defective, harmed, someone who can't express them, contain themselves, and are bringing the wound of the previous environment into the new one. Most firms, although they're going to tell you that they hear you and accept you, they're going to find reluctance within their organization to move forward with you. So your answer has to be moderated. So let me take the extremes off the table and go to the core scenarios. Now, most situations professionally for people, there are things like, I don't get along with this person. Or this person, in one case that I worked with, the best way to describe the individual was they were a scoundrel. I'm not going to go into details, but I'll just simply say part of the reason that we get our buttons pushed by people is they remind us of someone from our past who did much the same thing. For example, there's a person who I'm coaching now who interviewed for a role, and they met with someone who clearly reminded them of their mom. And, that button got pressed through demeanor. It got pressed through the questioning and querying that took place in the interview. And, if my coachee winds up responding to them as they might have to their mother, clearly they're going to be bumping heads because that was a lot of their dynamic growing up. And it doesn't serve the interest that they have. The coachee has. So you want to remember that in the standard situation, it's about you and your memories. It's not about the present time. Now, I'll deal with the present time in a second, but you might start off by answering the question by saying, what I try to do before I go into interactions with people is to remember whether it's about them or it's about me. And most of the time, it's about me. So when I work with someone who's hard to get along with, most of the time it's because they've pressed my buttons in some way. And what I want to do is diffuse the emotion of the interaction and just go to the facts of the situation. So that in this way, I'm not carrying extra luggage into the room with me, if you understand the metaphor. And I can just focus on the immediate of the situation. And you can enhance that with a story where you've done that previously. Now, if you're a manager, if you're a leader in an organization, sometimes it's not about, shall we say, these emotional buttons being pushed. there are clearly behavioral flaws that the person has where they go beyond corporate standards. So, for example, there were the classic cases of American business people who were paying off foreign corporate heads in violation of U.S. law and in violation of corporate standards. But that was the way they understood to do business in those parts of the world. So there are times where you have to say, I met with the HR organization, and obviously, again, another extreme example, yours might be scaled down, the person who conducts themselves in a way where they just think it's more important to do the sale than to be honest with people and the potential impact of that. So you might just simply say, under certain circumstances, what I've had to do is meet with my HR organization and develop a check in my mind to see whether or not there was an issue that existed and verify that my thinking about it was correct, get them involved with it, start to document what my thoughts were and the behavioral issues. And we wound up having a meeting with the individual to basically put them on, this is my language, I'm trying to be facetious, double secret probation, where they're notified that for the next 90 days or for some period of time, their performance has to return to this benchmark or they're fired. In sales organizations, that's very easy. And it's something I've recommended to one of the people I coach with, someone who just had not performed. And there was always the concern about, this is a woman, the hiring, her boss is a man. Was there an issue that was going to be dealt with related to gender? And we wanted to document her poor performance and what was being asked of her to do within this 90-day period. If she met it, he was prepared to be effusive in praise. If she didn't, she was going to be let go. And without completing the story about what the outcomes are, what's important is, for the purpose of the interview, when you're dealing with hard to work with colleagues, sometimes you have to say to yourself, as a leader, the behavior is the problem. They're not following, the requirements of the role. And I need to get the HR organization in, document what the issues are, so that in this way I can get their input into how to resolve this more effectively. That if it's me, I'm willing to work on that and see where my part in this is. If it's the employee, I want to help them perform at the correct level. And again, if it's an emotional thing, normally what's happened is if you take some quiet time and sit with yourself and ask yourself, who does this person remind me of? You'll discover that there's someone from your past who this individual reminds you of, either through their behavior, their actions, what have you, where the affront occurred, and you can't bring that into the room with you. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, here are a few more ways to get information and advice from me. First of all, there's my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. I have more than 8,000 blog posts there that you can watch, listen to, or read that will help you find your next job. In addition, if you're interested in my coaching you, at the site there's a button there that says schedule. Schedule time for a free discovery call, schedule yourself in for coaching, interview preparation coaching, salary negotiation advice, coaching related to hiring more effectively, managing and leading, helping you to be a better executive in your organization, and overall being a better employee of your firm. If you have questions for me, you can ask them at Wizio.com/thebiggamehunter. That's WISIO.com/thebiggamehunter. The price at Wizio is less than 1/3 of what I'm charging at my website. And I'm doing this because I want to benefit my subscribers here and on YouTube, and only you're going to know about it. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. Mention that you watched or listened to my content. I like knowing I'm helping folks. Once we're connected, it's nice to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you from time to time about how I'm helping. You can also watch me on TV. Did you know that? If you have a Fire TV or a Fire Stick, download the JobSearch TV app for Apple TV, Roku, Sony, Samsung, like 90 different TV platforms. You can watch me on either Zingo TV or BingeNetworks.tv. On YouTube, subscribe at JobSearch.TV.com and have access to thousands of videos I've created. I'll be back tomorrow with more, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Be great!
Does anybody want breakfast? Guys, let's go. I'm leaving for McDonald's in 5 seconds. Why didn't you start with that?
The Breakfast Stampede Meal. It's only at McDonald's, where there's a meal for every morning.
And nothing says morning like a classic sausage McMuffin with egg. Right now, get this all-time favorite for just $2 on the $1, $2, $3 menu. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
This Thanksgiving, think outside the oven and get Thanks Grilling with Ace. Get a new grill and choose from top brands like Traeger, Weber, and Big Green Egg to add even more flavor to your Thanksgiving turkey, side dishes, and desserts. Plus, right now, get free assembly and delivery on all grills and accessories $3.99 and up. For the best help on the best grills, stop by your local Ace and get Thanks Grilling. Ace Rewards members only through December 24th. See participating stores for scheduling or exclusions.